So this is what we've got done on it now. I put in these blocks here. They're just some 2x4s, and I have matching ones along the top. So what this is going to allow is they're going to act like stoppers before I put my piece of plywood in there. Okay, it's actually been quite a while since I made the last video on this. We just did a trip and I had to have this put together. I was literally installing the taillights as we were packing it up to leave. So this is what it's looking like now. Got all that metal on there. Right here we got the stabilizer jacks. These are the taillights, LEDs. Put those on. Right now I've just got this draining. Just back up in there. I put boards across the front, just in front of the wheel wells to stop things from sliding back. Right here is the water drain, and what it is, it's similar to this one in the fact that it's got a garden hose connector on it, so you can connect a garden hose right to this and it drains out. I ripped that out on our trip because I had to get our tubing out here and there was no gear clamp that I had that would work for that. I grabbed two. One of them fit on the underside of the sink, the other one didn't end up fitting, so I just stuck the tubing straight out the side and let her drain. It's starting to really look good now. So we took off this front panel and put a piece of rubber in behind there. So there used to be these gaps. Now when I'm driving, the wind and rain hits the front and it'll push the rain, it'll slide off the rubber and then onto the metal, so that the water doesn't end up rotting out the plywood underneath. And I think I'm just going to leave that. I mean, it doesn't move too much. The wind will hold it down. It's sandwiched between the plywood and that whole center board, so that's good. And then on the side here, these doors kept blowing shut. So these doors, you know, you push them up and then they swing shut. So what I've done is I've made this. There we go. That holds the door wide open. It can't blow back. And all it is some 1x2 screwed to there, screwed to here. Sort of like a pin set up in the middle with a screw. And then on the back I've got a little stopper there, so you bring it beyond center to lock it, and then to close it, you just push it in. And it swings shut. I also redid the trim on here, so all of this stuff, it wraps from the top there, down, underneath, and then down to the base of it. So that's the front end done. I still have to pull all of the wiring. We ran a set of lights on here. They didn't end up working, so I got the new lights that you saw back there. So I've got both sets of wiring right now. I have to pull off the one. And the other thing I have to do is run my little drain straight out to the outlet, which I have in a drawer in here, and I have to connect up the line for the tap. That way, when I'm at a park that has water hookups, I can have full water pressure. It's all done. I just finished emptying it out, and this thing is getting parked for now. So I've got the front enclosure, little padlocks on each side. Got the battery box on the front. That little tiny solar panel there is for lights up inside of the enclosure here. Got front stabilizer jacks. The cord for the clearance lights. This was the new electrical cover I put on there. This thing, I had to take this off. I just put new silicone on it. It's the drain for the sink. This is your water in, so when you're at a park and you've got a water hookup, you can put it into there. So water in here, water out here. 2 outlets that work. Across the back here, I've got, again, 2 more stabilizer jacks. They're actually like almost like a tent trailer jack. We've got the LED lights. I didn't bother closing this in. I mean, I put a stopper up at the front, in front of the wheel well there, but I didn't bother closing this in because this is a good spot to toss the shoes overnight where they won't get wet. Go up in here. So under here, bagging away. I just hooked up that line there. That's our water pressure in, and then this clear tube is going to the drain on the outside. Stove was working fine, it didn't need anything. We got a little microwave in here. That tap, I'm probably going to switch it out for a taller one, just because the sink is extremely shallow. Over here, I've got the fridge. And this thing works awesome in here. It's got a little freezer in the top. Up here, I've got extra, this is like a mattress topper thing I put underneath here. This, all that is when this dinette folds down into a bed, you can drop that foam piece on there. It gives it extra padding because these cushions are really weak. Up here, I drilled a hole in the wall. There's an outlet in behind this wall behind the fridge, so I've got this little plug here. Eventually, I'm going to put a shelf up there because there's nowhere to charge like cell phones and stuff up in this upper area. Over here, I installed the TV and the soundbar. This TV is full motion. I don't have it very tight right now, but you can rotate it as well. It's great for getting rid of the glare on things. We've got a toaster oven, which we haven't used yet, down here underneath the fridge. I closed that all in, put the inverter box back in there, or a converter, and it's a little shelf there. So what I'm going to do with this is put a back on here, and then put a divider right in the center. That way it supports this, because if you look at that, the fridge board is sort of bowing a little bit. Not enough to cause concern, but just eventually that might be an issue. And then there's this storage area. I just sort of rigged this up on the trip with what I had. The TV mount is screwed through this wall. You can see it's sandwiched. Oh my god, there's spiders everywhere. It's sandwiched between this plywood piece and this plywood piece because this wall is flimsy as crap. So eventually, if we do a big trip or something where we aren't going to be near any facilities, then you can drop a porta potty in here. Sort of sucks using it, but that's what you got to work with. So still needs a tiny bit of clean up, you know, just finishing up a few things, but that is it. And it's working perfect. This thing trails so straight for the size of it. Like, it's almost the same size width-wise as our full-size trailer, and that's a 28-foot camping trailer. So this thing is pretty wide for the width of it, for the length of it. Because if you look at that, it's actually, I think, from the ball to the tail, it's around 15 feet. So, not bad.